We hope you're looking forward to today's qualifying in Hungary as much as we are. We think it's going to be a cracker.
Hi guys, CombinedYoutuber here. Welcome to the F1 2016 Crimo today, and we'll be doing the Hungarian Grand Prix today. And it's the halfway point now of the season. And here we are for the qualifying session. Here in Hungary, we have Daniel Ricciardo out on track for our first. He crosses the line, and he does a 122.2. So, we're just watching some cars go out on track before our runs. So, Sebastian Vettel out on track, he goes second fastest with the 122.3, which is quite decent. And now, here is Nico Rosberg onto the straight, coming onto the final corner, crosses the line with the 121.7. So, he gets a provisional pole so far. So, very decent stuff from Nico Rosberg. Here we are out on track for our first run in this Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying. Not really good at this track. Not really been good at this track ever, to be honest. I did do well here, but I'm not really good at it in this game. In 2013 I was not too bad at it, but I was still not that good at it either. So here we are around the final corner, coming into the final corner. Sorry I'm a bit off on commentary today, I just don't really feel that alright today, but coming now to turn 1, going past Vettel out of the pits, coming to turn 1, braking down to second gear, and now out of this onto the second DRS zone, coming into turn 2. Here we go, now coming into turn 2, which is a hard braking zone, coming into second gear, and now into turn 3, which is absolutely flat out. Here we go, turn 3, 5th gear, it's flat out at least. Now coming into turn 4, up the hill, braking down to 4th gear, not taking it as fast as you would for real. Now coming into turn 5, and now onto the end of the second sector. I didn't actually catch our first time, but at the end of the second sector we are 9/10 down. I think we're actually 1/10 down or 2/10 down the first sector, and we are 9/10 down in the second sector. So here we go, coming into the penultimate corner, the last two corners of the Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying first run. Here we go, onto the final corner, round the final corner, very long corner. DRS open. As it hits the finish line with a 122.7, puts us in 9th place. And that's actually sort of meh, to be honest. 9th place could be standard for this track, but I don't feel like the Haas is really good here. Now coming into the pit lane again, that's the end of our first run. Now, as we didn't see any decent times in the spectator, we went straight out for our second run. Well, I skipped to our second run. So here's the end of our second lap, as we come around the final corner with DRS open, coming onto the straight, cross the line with a 122.7. That's a 200th improvement. But now onto the pit straight once again. This is our fastest run. This is our fastest lap of the qualifying session. Now coming to turn 1, braking down to second gear, out of the DRS. Now coming into turn 2, coming on straight into turn 2. Now coming into second gear, hitting the curb, and now coming into turn 3, flat out in 5th gear. And now coming up the hill, coming down into the fast and unsighted turn 4, braking into 4th gear. There we are 2/10 up on our fastest time. Now we are 3 and 4/10 up in our delta. Now braking into the chicane at turn 6 and 7, and now braking to second gear, and now into the twisty section, the downforce section, where the Haas is not really the greatest. Now coming into this corner, flat out corner in 5th gear there into 6th. We have a yellow flag somewhere there, we didn't quite lift there, but Rosberg has led us through onto the straight, and now coming into turn 12, or turn 11 actually, I think, I don't know. Now coming into the penultimate corner, the last two corners of this Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying, where are we going to be on the grid for the race. Here we go into the final corner, coming onto the pit straight, we are 2/10 up, crossing the line, and we get into P8. P8 here in Hungary, so it's an alright position, not the best position, but we qualify in 8th place. for this Hungarian Grand Prix.
From the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three. Hamilton, Rosberg and Max Verstappen. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So Lewis Hamilton gets pole by 1/10 from Nico Rosberg in second. Max Verstappen gets third ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Carlos Sainz with a very, very good performance in 5th place. Ahead of Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel, me in 8th. Valtteri Bottas, Romain Grosjean, Jenson Button, Felipe Massa in 12th. And yeah, it's then the Perez and Alonso, Hulkenberg, Kvyat, Verline, Haryanto, Magnussen, Ericsson, Palmer, and Felipe Massa completes the grid. Now for our resource points after qualifying, we have got a total of 68 resource points to get our total to 834 after the Hungarian Grand Prix. So I could tell you after the in our rivalry update here, we are still losing to Max Verstappen, and in our driver position, we are still up, of course, because we beat Grosjean still. I can tell you that in the previous Grand Prix we upgraded the downforce for this race. In the previous race in Britain. So here are our race goals for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We need to finish the race in 9th or higher, place higher in the race standings than Max Verstappen, and to beat Romain Grosjean. So let's now go to the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So, Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jenson's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative, of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
Okay, the run into turn 1 isn't too long, so the pack will be bunched up. Take care.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Nico Rosberg alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, and Raikkonen, Vettel, and a Haas, Bottas, and Romain Grosjean, Button, Massa, Sergio Perez, and Alonso, Hulkenberg, Kvyat, Pascal Wehrlein, and Rio Haryanto, Magnussen, and Ericsson. Jolyon Palmer and Felipe Massa starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We start from 8th place on the grid. Let's hope we can have a good race here in Hungary. We've had good races here in past career modes. 2013 we had a very, very championship-changing race in Hungary, if you remember. When I won in the Ferrari in Season 2, I had a very much championship-changing race when Alonso retired. And all those Turn 5, and that Turn 5 glitch where everyone went off, so... yeah. So here we are for the... here we are in the 3 years later game, 2016, on the formation lap, here in Hungary. As I was saying, yeah, the Season 2 2013 race really changed the championship around, and probably decided the championship as well, because I never lost the lead in the championship after that race. So here we are behind Sebastian Vettel in the... So yeah, Ferrari didn't do well either in this qualifying session. They were 6th and 7th. As now we are trying to back off there from Carlos Sainz, so we've somehow overtaken 2 cars on the formation lap. Probably because they were trying to brake check me on the formation lap, which was getting quite annoying. You know, like, it's very annoying to do that on the formation lap, so I don't know why I was showing this, to be fair. I honestly had no idea why I was showing this, but here is me going behind Carlos Sainz, who had a really good qualifying, I have to say. Carlos Sainz, I think, had his best qualifying of the season in this race. So let's hope he does well. There is Raikkonen overtaking me as I line up in my 8th place grid slot. So, we are starting to line up on the grid for this Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's hope we can have a good race here in Hungary, as here we are on the grid for the 11th round of the season. And it's away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We have got a good start there compared to Sebastian Vettel, and Vettel's dropping back, and now we're getting some slipstream from Raikkonen as we head down into turn 1. We're going to the outside of him, coming into turn 1. It's Hamilton who leads into turn 1. We go round the outside of Raikkonen, coming into turn 1. We get him round the outside, and we move over to 6th place. We have Ricciardo and Rosberg side by side as we head into turn 2. Carlos Sainz right behind this. As now, coming into turn 3 now, Hamilton still leads from Verstappen. And Ricciardo gets pushed off by Rosberg as now we go to the outside of Sainz and of Ricciardo. Coming into turn 4. Sainz and Ricciardo are side by side into turn 4, and Sainz has gone for a spin on the exit of turn 4. That's actually a shame. That is really unfortunate. After starting from a brilliant 5th place on the grid, Carlos Sainz has spun into the wall. That's really, really unfortunate. I was hoping he would have a good race today, but as you can see from his point of view, he was trying to go to the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, and he got hit. He hit his rear tire and gone straight into the barriers. That's unfortunate for Carlos Sainz. In his best ever qualifying this season, he crashes out on the first lap. Not good stuff. That's really, really unfortunate. I feel sorry for Carlos Sainz here. But now, that was an eventful first lap here in Hungary as we move up into 5th place. So we moved up 3 places as it's Hamilton leading from Verstappen, then it's Rosberg, then it's Ricciardo, then it's me, then it's Raikkonen. So, decent start to this Hungarian Grand Prix so far. Let's hope we can catch Ricciardo. Just try and repeat our podiums that we got in 2013 career mode. But we actually dropped back on the first lap, as now Hamilton leads after the first lap, as now we start lap 2 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Raikkonen is all over the back of us now, coming into turn 1. He's moving to the inside of us, coming into turn 1. We're going to try and cover him off on the inside, and that's worth it, and we keep our 5th place into turn 1. Very decent defending from us there. Raikkonen tried to go on the inside, but he didn't quite get us. And now it's turn 2. And now onto the final corner once again. Hamilton sets another fastest lap of a 123.8. We cross the line on lap 3 now to start the 3rd lap of this race. Raikkonen pulls over to the outside, coming into turn 1. Is he going to get us around the outside? Yes, he's going for it. He's going for it. He's slightly ahead into turn 1. But we are now side by side as we head down into turn 2. Here we go, coming into turn 2. Raikkonen has the inside line into turn 2. Here we go. We're going to go around the outside, on board with Massa now. Coming into turn 3, we're going to go side by side still. Once again, we're going to hit Raikkonen, who's got to the track, and Massa has smashed into Raikkonen, and he is out of the race. Massa is out. He has hit Raikkonen in the back of Raikkonen, and he is the first retirement of this race on lap 3. That was unexpected. Never seen a crash like that before. Also, Magnussen's out as well, so that's brought out the virtual safety car. I've never seen the AI crash like that ever. Honestly, like, I've never seen, like, I didn't think I saw in anyone else's career mode the AI go wide there and then they crash into each other. Magnussen retired with engine failure there, so he parked up at turn 4, which somehow brought up the virtual safety car. But now, while that virtual safety car is out, let's check a replay of this eventful start to this Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go, onto the start now. You can see Bottas got a decent start. Hamilton also got a very good start. Verstappen got an even better start. He got ahead of Rosberg, sorry, into turn 1. Here we go round the outside of Raikkonen. You can see us shooting through past Raikkonen. Moving up into 7th. Hamilton is already way ahead into turn 2. Verstappen's already in 2nd. But you can see Rosberg and Ricciardo side by side. Coming to turn 3. And now Ricciardo gets forced off, which caused the chain reaction. And probably what caused Carlos Sainz to go into the wall. Very, very unfortunate for him there. Now let's check the onboard of Carlos Sainz once again. From his replay. From the replay of his onboard, you can see that he's just got a good view of the battle between Rosberg and Ricciardo into turn 2. He's just sitting there. He doesn't expect anything bad going to happen. Until he sees Ricciardo gets pushed off by Rosberg. And then Sainz goes to the inside. He sees me on the outside. And then he goes to the inside of Ricciardo. Then he clips him. And then Sainz goes straight into the wall. So that is really, really unfortunate for Carlos Sainz. After such a great qualifying, he crashes. He didn't crash out of the race, but he did crash. So it was really unfortunate for him. Now coming on to lap 4 after the virtual safety car ended. And we are still in 5th place. It's not been a very eventful race so far. There's been a couple of attempts from Raikkonen, but it hasn't been a race with a lot of overtakes so far, so it's kind of boring so far. But now Raikkonen moves to the inside coming into turn 1, and we're going to go back on the inside of him. He actually moves over into turn 1 in the braking zone, and he actually makes us damage our front wing a bit there. Let's check the replay of that. So Raikkonen is forced all the way to the inside. And then I'm trying to come back at him. Then he moves over on the straight as I'm trying to come back at him. And then he makes me break my front wing. That is really not good from Kimi Raikkonen. I did not rate his move very well there. I didn't really like that. But now coming into the pits now. Not to change our front wing because the damage really isn't too bad, in my opinion. So we're just coming into a pit for a casual tyre stop. So here we go, coming into the pits on lap 6, I believe. Not sure what lap it is at the moment. You can see the Sauber there on the straight. And now coming into the pits for a change to soft tyres. And now coming onto out of the pit lane now. I think we're in about 19th, something like that. I don't know where we are. We're at the back though. As we come out of the pits very safely there with no traffic ahead of us. We do come out in 19th actually. I don't know how I predicted that right, but we do come out in 19th. Ahead of Carlos Sainz only, who of course got involved in the first lap crash. So he's obviously at the back. I feel sorry for Carlos Sainz still though. Now coming onto lap 6 and onto lap 7 of this Grand Prix now in Hungary. Coming onto the DRS straight. We're behind Felipe Nasser in the Sauber. Going down towards turn 1. Here we go. Coming to the inside of Felipe Nasser. And we get him into 17th. Because we saw Sebastian Vettel come out of the pits there. So we moved up 2 places effectively. We get ahead of Felipe Nasser very easily in the Sauber. And we move up into 16th place in fact. Not 17th. Yeah. Very, very... So we are starting to get some overtakes here in Hungary. Now coming on to lap 8 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We are moving up some more positions, including our teammate Roman Grosjean there. But we're not ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So now we are going to try and get him into turn 2 here. To get our revenge on him after his dirty move on the straight there. So yep, we're going to try and force him out wide there. And we have made a great overtake up the inside into 9th place there. So we got our sort of revenge on Raikkonen. There wasn't contact, but it was a clean move. But I was mad at him after his move on the straight. Now here we go, moving on to lap 10 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We are behind Felipe Nasser, not Felipe Nasser, Julian Palmer, I should say. What the hell did that come from? And now Raikkonen comes to the inside. We're going to the inside of Palmer. It's now 3 wide into turn 1. And me and Raikkonen both get past Palmer. But Raikkonen is now ahead of us. As coming to turn 2, we are now actually side by side. Coming into turn 2, are we going to go round the outside of Raikkonen? Coming into turn 3. turn 2, and now into turn 3 on the inside. We do get him, but Raikkonen's off the track at this contact, and there's going to be a huge crash into the wall for Kimi Raikkonen. That is, this has actually got more. This has had more crashes than overtakes, to be fair. Raikkonen smashes into the wall. Jolyon Palmer is spun. So has Vettel. So both Ferraris have been involved in the crash. Let's see. Grosjean actually crashes into Raikkonen as well. So both of the Haas's have a damaged front wing. Here it is from Jolyon Palmer's point of view. He just hits Raikkonen, who is in the way. So that was very unlucky from. That was very unlucky for Jolyon Palmer there. And now, yep, Vettel is also very unlucky after he sees the Renault spin in front of him. That McLaren of Jenson Button was very, very close to also being involved in the incident. Let's see his point of view. Yeah, oh, that was so close for Jenson Button. And now moving on to lap 11 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've actually had more overtakes and more crashes than overtakes, as we've seen here. And now Grosjean moves to the inside, gets past us, and absolutely speeds past us. So Grosjean gets past us in the DRS zone and gets ahead of us. So we're going to try and have our first battle with Romain Grosjean here. Now coming to turn 2. Now we are very, very close to him, but ooh, we almost run into the back of him. Remember that both the Haas's now have a damaged front wing after Grosjean got involved. It caused the crash effectively after Raikkonen rejoined the track. So now coming into the final corner once again. Now we're going to use some DRS to re-pass Romain Grosjean. Coming into the straight now. On lap 13 of this race. Here we go, using DRS to get closer and closer to Romain Grosjean. We're going to go up the inside of him, into turn 1, and we get back into 5th place on Romain Grosjean there. So, it's a very, very easy pass there for us on lap 13, and we get into 5th place once again. Max Verstappen will take it easy 4th. And for some reason, he's actually pitted on the 2 laps later, so Grosjean has pitted for some odd reason. 2 laps later, what has happened here to Romain Grosjean? Has he damaged his front wing enough that he's actually come into the pit? So let's check the replay now of what happened. So this is on the straight, on the previous lap, and Grosjean actually does run into the back of us when he tried to pass us again. And he saw that a bit of debris came off his car, so that's why he's in the pits. He damaged his front wing even more than he did. And as our tyres are actually going off at the end, unfortunately, we had to pit for a second stop. We haven't done that for ages. We had to do it a lot of times in 2013, but for the first time on F1 2016, we have to do it, unfortunately. On the penultimate lap of the race, we're in 5th place. And we have gone from such an unfortunate position, and also to change our front wing as well. We are in fact going to finish behind Romain Grosjean and behind Carlos Sainz, who both got involved in crashes. That's how bad his race has gone so far. Now, it was an incident-filled race, but it didn't have many overtakes, but it had a lot of crashes, and then it got very crap at the end, as you see now. So, overall, it wasn't really a good race for us in this Hungarian Grand Prix. I didn't really rate this race to be good anyway. Now, coming into the final corner, finishing in a very, very disappointing 17th place, our worst result of the season here in Hungary. Such an unfortunate race, to be honest. The Hungarian Grand Prix is not generally a good race for us in F1 2016. Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix easily from pole position, pretty much. Yeah. Ricciardo managed to get a podium despite Verstappen getting ahead of him at the start. And yeah, it was a decent race in terms of, if you talk about crashes, it was a decent race. If you talk about overtakes, not so. Talk about a result, definitely not a decent race. But Hamilton celebrates now on the podium after his dominant win. Nico Rosberg takes 2nd and Ricciardo takes 3rd. They spray the champagne everywhere. I'm just not going to call this the worst race of the season. It wasn't the worst race of the season because of the action involving, like, with the crashes and stuff. It didn't make it the worst race of the season, but it was one of the worst races. So, Lewis Hamilton wins by 3 seconds from Nico Rosberg in 2nd. Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas in 5th. Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso from McLaren Honda finishing on 6th and 7th. Nice job Sergio Perez and Daniel Kvyat, Nico Hülkenberg, Rio Haryanto, Pascal Wehrlein. So close to points for Manor there. Sebastian Vettel in 13th after being involved in the incident. Marcus Ericsson, then Romain Grosjean, Carlos Sainz, then me in 17th. Then we have Felipe Nasser in 18th, Kimi Raikkonen in 19th, a lap down. That's how bad his race was. Jolyon Palmer in 20th, and then Kevin Magnussen and Felipe Massa retired from the Hungarian Grand Prix. The first race which had more than one retirement, in fact.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I have to give it to Lewis Hamilton. You know, it was just the kind of drive you'd expect from a multiple world champion.
On to the constructors then. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling installment of this Formula One season.
We will hopefully see another thrilling installment in Germany. So Lewis Hamilton still leads the championship by 9 points from Rosberg. Ricciardo in 3rd, Raikkonen in 4th, Verstappen in 5th. Me in 6th, losing points there in fact. We stay in our 6th, Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button, Romain Grosjean down to 10th now in the standings. Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg, Felipe Massa, Daniel Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen, Rio Haryanto, and then I missed the rest. Mercedes lead the constructors by 170 points from Red Bull, then it's Ferrari, then it's Haas in 4th, then it's Williams, then McLaren, then Force India, then Toro Rosso, then Renault, then Manor, and then Sauber, still the only team not to score points so far in this 2016 Career Mode Season 1. So that was sort of a not good Hungarian Grand Prix. Didn't really enjoy commentating this race. I don't think you would have enjoyed it either. But the next race in Germany should be a good race. Germany's usually a good race, Hockenheim. My first ever career race at Hockenheim, but not at Germany, but at Hockenheim, yeah. So we got a bonus there. We got around 100 resource points. So I think we got 70 resource points for the first one, and now of course our first driver bonus resource points. We got 70 of those. And we are still losing the rivalry to Max Verstappen after this race. We need to get a move on here to beat Max Verstappen in Germany. So let's hopefully see that. We lose that for not finishing 9th or higher. And we didn't beat Romain Grosjean. But we're still purple for remaining 15th or higher in the championship. So we're still overachieving despite having a shite result. So now having our career score. We got a few points for participating in the call-up practice and race. And we got 3,775 for the weekend, which gave us a total of 54,726 for the season. So, hope that you enjoyed the episode today in Hungary. It wasn't the greatest race ever, and it was the worst result of the season, but it seriously wasn't a good race. So, the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim is next, our first career race at Hockenheim, but not at Germany, but first race at Hockenheim, so hopefully you enjoy the Hungarian Grand Prix. Next video is F1 2013 career mode in Spain. So see you guys on my next video. Please like, comment and subscribe. And click the bell button for notifications. And goodbye.